right, off and running. Welcome into the Fury Unleashed podcast. The time for talk is now. Before we get things started, though, we wanted to send our thoughts and prayers to those affected in the Texas Hill Country, the flooding that happened out there. Tragic situation. There's a link on your screen now. If you're able, we encourage you to donate. Camp Mystic, the last toll I heard were like over 120 people confirmed killed. 161 still unaccounted for, missing, many of them children. If you can help at all, we encourage you to do so. And on behalf of Fury FC and everybody, all the fighters, front office, our thoughts and prayers are with those affected. And, on that note, we're here to talk about fighting. That's what we're going to do. The time for talk is now. Welcome into the Fury Unleashed podcast. Damian Oranday and Austin Oranday. The Oranday Brothers are here, man.
The twins.
How did you pull this off?
The twins.
The twins,
close.
yeah, right.
Close enough.
How close are y'all in age?
13 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My birthday is October. His December.
Daddy was busy.
Yeah, he was.
Always.
Irish twins.
Irish twins.
Isn't that what they call that?
Yep. Is that what they call that?
Yeah. I think so.
So me and my brother are Irish twins if we're 18 months apart?
Yeah.
Are we really?
Well, I think it's a year, but I think 18 months. I think it
could
counts.
Be close enough.
I think
13
so.
is definitely close enough.
I know we have like the same voice, but we don't.
Dude, you all have your dad's voice,
but
man.
we don't really look this. I think I look like my dad the most.
Yeah, I think so too. I would agree with that.
And then me and my little brother look kind of alike, but my older brother kind of stands out. He's a little more swole.
Yeah.
A little more jacked.
I thought you were going to say you look like the mailman or something. No? Okay.
No, I don't remember what the mailman looked like back then. I think he was black.
Well,
He was a black guy.
cool. All right, man.
Are you old enough for the
Shout
milkman
out
or no?
diversity.
Huh?
Is your parents old enough for the milkman or no? It had to be the mailman.
Yeah, probably had to be the mailman. No milkman back then.
Yeah, the mailman. Yeah. The milkman, that's like a generation
That's
or
like
two behind us,
Is that
man.
the 50s?
Probably, yeah.
Probably,
Like,
yeah.
It's like Leave It to Beaver where they have like
There you
milkmen
go.
leaving bottles on the doorstep and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't alive for that. Not by much. But yeah, man, welcome in Damian Oranday, fighting on our Fury FC 106 card next week in
New Orleans.
NOLA.
This won't be your first trip out of town, though, for Fury.
No.
Be your second.
The last one was San Antonio, right? Yeah.
And that was a tough fight, too, with Michael Blockus.
Yeah. He was a powerhouse.
What do you know about the guy we got you booked with?
Similar game. He's a heavy wrestler, but at the end of the day, we're going to MMA fight. So I'm preparing to fight with him on the feet, on the ground.
You get a finish?
Yeah, exactly.
Another finish?
Yeah, you know how I roll.
Yeah, taking on Kendon Lee, Viking 2-0.
Did I see an interview with Kendon? Did somebody post an interview, I think?
I haven't been keeping up.
I think he did an interview with Clear Life or something.
You kidding me? This guy's not like on social media or anything, man. He doesn't even know the Astros are 20 games over 500 right now.
I'm in a fight camp, man. I've been paying attention to running, training.
So you don't follow any other sports?
A little bit of the baseball. This is my family's into it. My wife's side of the family.
Y'all go to the Astros games?
We've been to a couple.
His brother-in-law and I actually did time at Texas All-Star Wrestling together. Jared Wayne.
Yeah, Jared Wayne.
Yeah, he messaged me a while back and was like, "Hey, man, did you know that I'm his brother? That's my brother-in-law." I'm like, "No shit."
Brother-in-law?
bro."
How? You?
My wife's sister's husband.
Okay.
So wife's side.
I've got a really funny Jared Wayne story I'm going to tell you off the air.
Off air?
Yeah.
Does he wrestle?
Yeah.
So y'all are both in
a little,
combat sports?
a little
Kind of
less
combat sport, right?
frequently these days. I think he's more behind the scenes, but yeah, man, he wrestled with Booker T's organization, Reality of Wrestling down there, the Pump Patrol. I don't know if you remember the Pump Patrol.
How old is Jared?
Oh, probably
A lot older than you?
Mid
A little bit.
30s.
Yeah, he's like 35,
Yeah,
36.
he's mid 30s.
Does he think that his art is more powerful than your art?
We don't get into it. It's kind of like a politics thing. You don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
Nah,
Keep it away
I know,
from the dinner table.
I know
Okay.
Jared has a
He's like,
great
I'm in
respect.
the real fight, hey man. What you do is nothing.
Yeah, I know what y'all do. Y'all get together in the back and talk about what you're gonna do. I want to armbar you, and then you're gonna tap, brother. No, not at all.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa for sure.
Vice versa for sure.
anyways, and welcome in Austin Oranday as well, fresh off an appearance on UFC BJJ, the road to the title.
Man,
Dude, what was that
cool.
experience like, man? Like the conversations that happened, how did that come to be, and what was the experience like for you?
Man, that was crazy. It came together so quick. I know Techi and Claudia called up Eric and were like, hey, looking for a guy to fill in 170, 1 week's notice, fly to Vegas. And Eric called me, and it just started happening. It started rolling. I jumped on the opportunity. He was 18 pounds over. So stopped being fat, put the beer down, and started running, started training, always training, but started training harder to start losing the weight. And the experience was cool. Like, going out there, you got to treat it like a professional, right? If I needed lip balm, it was there. You know, if I needed water, it doesn't matter. Anything I needed, my diet had to be super strict because I had to lose all the weight.
Did they when they called you, did they say, hey, what do you weigh right now?
No.
Or they didn't ask?
No,
when they got you there, did they weigh you?
They weighed me when I got there. I
Okay.
weighed right at 14 and a half over when I got there.
And
Did
they seem worried?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Man, there were
They
some
were like
guys.
the Louisiana Commission, man.
Dude, there were some guys that
They're just laid back. Oh, what do you weigh? Okay, sure.
there were some guys that showed up 25 pounds over.
Wow.
So
They
like,
still made weight, though.
They still some did.
Well, there was one guy.
Yeah,
couple guys.
Cisneros.
Cisneros.
He was like he was
Josh?
the he was
Was it
the
Josh?
yeah
Josh.
Josh Cisneros. He was the one that they were most worried about, and he didn't make it. So
I think Carlos was 15, 16 over
yeah.
when he got to Vegas.
So these dudes are cutting some serious weight.
Yeah.
man, Davis walked in I think at 190, so he was right at 20 pounds over.
And this is how far out from when the matches were going to start?
A week, 1 week.
From weigh-ins, right?
Wow.
Yeah, 1 week from weigh-ins.
So these guys are really cutting weight like MMA guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
crazy.
Everyone there cut weight like a professional. I think in the 55 they had like 4 guys that didn't struggle, but in 170 there was only one, and that
Okay.
was Jason Nolf. Jason Nolf didn't cut any weight.
Yeah,
He
a lot
just
of the
walked in.
a lot of the
Wait, I'm sorry,
55ers.
Jason Nolf and Aaron. Aaron didn't cut weight
Yeah.
either.
Jason's the Penn State.
Penn State
guy,
wrestler. Yeah, he's good.
I think he had a match on FPI prior to that.
He
and
did.
He
and
did.
I
He
think
fought
Gino
Hanato
Morelli,
Canuto.
I think, was cornering him on one of the.
Yeah, him and Hanato Canuto had a match. It was
That's right.
it was a scrap.
It was a
That's
good
right.
scrap. It was
That was
fun.
a great- that was
It
a fun
match to
match.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason brings it though. Like, he's not trying to be boring. You know, he's not trying to just be the wrestler that runs around for half the round. He's trying to actually go for it. He's actually trying to pass the guard. He's actually trying to do jiu-jitsu. It's not like most wrestlers that's tap you on the forehead and run around in a circle.
Yeah.
So you show up in Vegas and they picked you up from the airport and they took you straight to this house? Or did y'all go to like
so
a PI
we
or something?
so with the house we actually just hung out in. We stayed in the hotel.
Okay.
So we got took in the hotel. We had a day or two for medicals to chill and kind of just get
Settle in,
acclimated.
right?
Yeah, settle in. Paperwork, pictures, all that kind of stuff to start day one, and then we were allowed to work out. We weren't allowed to train. They didn't want anybody to get injured. At least not off camera. So the cameras weren't all around yet. Just medicals, paperwork. Figuring out who's gonna stay because they bought alternates.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of, hey, if something falls through and you don't pass your medical, you're too far overweight. They were a little concerned weighing us there, like, hey, we'll keep the alternate.
What did the medical stuff consist of? Was it like UFC? You think it's like UFC?
It was just like MMA.
Damn, that's crazy.
Just
The
like
UFC
MMA.
is such a powerhouse, man, and like
They made it professional. I've never had to do a medical for jiu-jitsu before.
I call it the greatest company in the world. I mean, just because of what Dana did, or one of the greatest companies in the world, but just because of what
Certainly.
Dana did during COVID.
As far as what we do.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't lay anybody off. He made sure. You want to raise this up?
It's lowering. So I was like, just looking. I was like, man, this chair is
Oh
dropping.
man,
You wanna grab
they
it?
gave Oranday the
Yeah.
asshole chair.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's the one we all try to avoid.
You see, we can get him
Mic
this chair
up there.
probably.
I don't want to rip the mic off.
Here you go.
Slide that one back.
Let's get
That's
rid of the
a-
asshole chair.
That's
All right.
Rich Burmaster's chair.
Is that why it's sinking? Because
Yeah.
yeah.
Rich is too heavy, so like he broke the springs.
Constantly breaking them.
Yeah.
But I say,
Oh, yeah.
Damien that heavy right now?
Nah, dude,
I was worried. I was like, man, Damien's getting smaller.
Oh,
As
thank
the he was all the way. Like, hey, Damien, you want to talk?
It's all right. That's how we talk to Damien every day.
Looked like a kid trying to sit at the bar at Chili's, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
But anyway,
just
like
every time he goes to Chili's.
so with the
Damn.
UFC, like Dana during COVID and stuff, he didn't lay off anybody. He wanted to get this machine rolling again. He got Fight Island going. So I wouldn't think any different, But the way they
Yeah.
ran this BJJ stuff, so they ran it just like their MMA fights.
Exactly, but the thing is like for them, it was it wasn't rushed. It was put together so quickly. You know, I was out there for 10 days, but some athletes were only out there for 7 because I stuck around for FPI and, you know, to do some extra media and stuff like that. And normally when they do Tough or The Ultimate Fighter, they do it over like, you know, 2 months. They did the whole entire show in 10 days, which is crazy.
That's how well oiled that machine is.
Yeah, and it ran smooth. It's not like there was problems, you know. It was...
With watching the episodes, man, it looked flawless.
Yeah, it was...
You know, for people who still haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Like, you can catch UFC BJJ 1. What is it called? It's like Road to the Title.
UFC BJJ Road to the Title.
Yeah.
8
it's
episodes.
on YouTube. Go catch it. Watch it, then watch the finale, UFC BJJ 1 on YouTube, Facebook, Fight Pass. So it was a great experience.
Dude, it was
One
cool.
of our athletes is in the finale.
Yeah. And
Little spoiler for
I
you
think
guys.
we're the
no
only...
spoilers, man.
Hey.
I think we're the only 2 from Texas to come out and represent from the same gym.
Yeah, we had 2 athletes in the same.
how amazing is that?
Dude, it's crazy.
That's
Same
crazy.
gym,
I know you're focused on
opposite teams.
MMA, but is that something you would
I would
want
definitely
to do?
Yeah, I could consider it. You know, if the matchup was right and the timing was right outside of the fight times.
What do you think, like, about the training? Obviously, when you're doing jiu-jitsu and something like that, you have to go into camps specifically for that versus kind of intermingling the MMA.
My
With
jiu-jitsu
BJJ.
training was always so close to MMA. I was
Okay.
always as I got older throughout my, you know, upper belts, I started to become a top player, pressure passer, takedowns. So my jiu-jitsu, when I made the transition back over to MMA, was a seamless transition for wrestling and jiu-jitsu. It was just adding the striking back to it. You know, consistently train striking again.
Because you get guys like we have, like Sebastian Oyervides is a little stud.
Dude,
I
yeah,
don't know if
he's
y'all know
great.
Sebastian.
Yeah, monster.
You know, and he's killing it. He's undefeated amateur MMA. Now he's 3-0 as a pro.
pro.
Fighting on the same card as
Yeah.
you next week in New Orleans. But we got him into that FPI card, the last one, and he was the opening match, and he had Kevin Carrasco. And I didn't know Kevin was such a stud.
Yeah,
You had a match with
I had
Carrasco, right?
Yeah, I had a match early black belt at I think it was like a small open for IBJJF.
How would that go?
I submitted him.
Did you really?
Yes. He's a stud though. He's a
dude.
great. Like I knew
The
who
dude
he was.
is a stud, and
Yes.
the way he did Sebastian, did y'all watch that match?
Yeah, I watched
Yes.
it. Man, his first match on UFC BJJ 1 was good too.
Yes.
He had a good opener.
He's
Yeah,
got
he
those-
opened the card.
Yeah.
He's got those triangles, man, that are like, and he beat Sebastian by triangle. He beat the last guy by
Yes.
triangle. But after I talked to Sebastian, he's like, man, if I do any more of these, like, I need to be focused 100% on
But his
BJJ and not
jiu-jitsu,
MMA.
his jiu-jitsu looks a lot different when he's just doing jiu-jitsu versus when he's doing
Doing
MMA
MMA.
jiu-jitsu. Training
Yeah.
with Damian 2 years ago is just the same as training with Damian today,
Yeah.
if not
So
better.
you've always had that,
That pressure is always the same.
Dude,
If I
I'd
was
love
go,
to
if I
see
were to
you
try to
and
do
Kevin on
MMA,
it.
Yeah.
on UFC
Hey,
BJJ.
if Claudia and Tachi want to make that matchup, I'm
So
here.
you heard it. Damian's already beat this guy. You submitted him?
Yes, I submitted
What'd you
him.
get him with?
Heel hook.
it was
Oh,
quick
wow.
too, right?
Yeah, 4 minutes in or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know we're probably going to try and finish this year off with MMA,
Yeah.
but if a UFC BJJ
They want to make a
opportunity opened
matchup,
it
yeah.
up,
Maybe
that's
towards
a
the
great
end,
match.
end of the year, you know, when I'm
Okay.
settling down.
Yeah, I'm gonna pitch that.
What did you think of the octagon? It visually it looks beautiful. It looks
bowl.
great on TV.
The bowl, yeah.
right? What were your impressions being in there, like compared to like our stage? It's a big, you know.
It makes it so much more dynamic. There's no stopping. You
Yes.
know, like
Yep.
It's
my
amazing.
last match on Submission Hunter Pro, loved it. But there was halfway through, me and Bruno got a scramble, and what's Bruno start doing? He starts rolling, looking
Rolling
for the
to the
edge,
edge, yeah.
which that's the right
It's a
defense.
strategy,
It's
yeah.
the right defense, right? Like you gotta roll to get out, but at the same time, like you can roll and cut your angle too, and
They gotta stop it and stand
They
it
don't
up,
want to.
yeah.
They don't want to cut that angle to try to stay in the center. It makes it where there's just no choice. You can't roll up a wall. You can try, but I promise it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Do you like the rule set?
Oh, amazing.
You think the 3 5-minute rounds is
Yes.
better than doing 1 10-minute or 1 7-minute?
Yeah.
For
Plus
sure.
overtimes?
For sure, because the guys, they're so scared of getting tired
Right.
that they'll start they'll start the first 5 minutes slow, pick up kind of the second 5, and then the last 5 they'll start like actually putting some gas on, and then maybe they're tired at the end of the match. Whereas if you do 5-minute wins, you have to try to win every round.
Yeah, I mean, go
So
look
you
at
can't just hold.
the events that have like a 15-minute time limit. Like it starts real slow, and then the last 2 or 3 minutes they're actually fighting.
And then obviously if you do a thing where it's no sub and we have to go to points and overtime, a lot of guys will try and stall out just to
Yes,
get to OT.
just
You can get completely dominated in regulation and then be a point player and know how to score some points and
win
hold
the
it
OT.
and win, even though you got smoked in regular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, it makes people fight different because you have to win the round.
And I think
You can't give up rounds. You can't lay there and just play guard.
Right.
You have to go forward.
I think the result of UFC BJJ 1 was a good example of how the rule set and the bowl changed it, because they had a 90% sub rate on the event.
Y'all keep up with a lot of the high-level grapplers that are...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, or do y'all have an idea of who y'all would like to see Mikey Musumeci face? Have y'all
Man.
thought about that?
35?
Diego Pato.
Yeah.
Diego
Who?
Pato. I think Diego Pato.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a
Diego
kid out of
Pato,
Brazil.
Baby Shark, maybe. I think Diego Pato is the more competitive one, though. I think Baby Shark it's going to be one of those, let me stay away to the very end and then try to make something happen.
Yeah.
Do y'all like Mikey's game?
Yeah, he's
I
fun to
think-
watch. He's a sub hunter, man. He goes
It's
after.
always legs, though, right?
It's always
It's
legs.
always legs, but the thing is, you got to find someone that can play the game just as well as him. Like right now, he's fighting guys that are top players. They're pressure passers. Like Diego Pato's, Baby Shark's gonna be the same way. At least with Diego Pato, he's not scared to go in leg locks with anyone.
Anybody.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Would be a sick matchup, honestly.
I think so. I think Diego Pato's the guy.
What about the way Mikey comes out? Like, because obviously the rule set says that you have to be touching a guy to sit down, right, to pull guard. So he comes out with his hands up in one leg, trying to.
Kind of goofy.
I
Yeah.
don't love it. I don't think it's a good jump guard. Go for a scissor takedown. Wrestle until you can make a clean pull. I think just accepting the takedown or the sweep isn't a good look, because you're not showing that I have that part of the game. Because at the end of the
Shows
day,
a hole.
It shows a big hole. And it's not like a 80cc or something else where you're forced to wrestle.
Right.
Right? You can pull guard. You just have to do it the right way. And I think it's such a strategy of like the moment he touches me, I'm just going to fall back, which is what we're avoiding. That's why the rule's there, to make contact, is to not just fall back, not just to lay on your back with your legs open.
Right.
And the thing is, he has good top game. He has good passing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has good takedowns. He just hasn't shown it yet.
I haven't really seen his top game much in the couple events that he
Yeah,
did.
recently it's all been leg
From-
stuff.
Yeah,
He
Especially
passed
UFC.
Harrison's guard in one round. He
Yeah,
passed
Harrison's
Harrison's
tough,
guard.
too. That was a pretty good
Man,
matchup.
That was
He escaped all his
So-
leg locks until the third round, like 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, I
left.
was very, very surprised with how Harrison's game was in no-gi, because it was like... I don't know,
He's a
it's-
gi player,
he's
right?
a gi player, yeah. So no one really knew what he had. He was kind of like a element of surprise for him.
I
And
think
he looked great.
I think he needs a little bit more time, right? I think he needs like 5 or 6 more good matchups. Keep training the no-gi, and he'll really be a good threat.
Yeah.
But the thing is for his first match to go against the best guy at that weight class right now is hard.
Yeah, I thought the whole UFC BJJ one was a good success.
It's
Oh,
a
for
success,
sure.
yeah.
It was a great success. I think that the audience tuned in. I think that the athletes got paid well.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, the
Which is
whole
crazy.
experience was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for
Yeah, there's actually a
jiu-jitsu.
path and a reality now where jiu-jitsu athletes don't have to go to MMA to make a living. Like I could go compete and make a living now.
That's crazy.
Like normally it's open a gym or go do MMA.
Yeah.
I don't like brain damage like this guy.
We're trying to avoid the brain damage.
I hope
Well,
so.
he doesn't get hit too much.
Nah,
It's true.
I've had, what was this, my ninth, 10th fight coming up?
Yeah.
I haven't taken too many hard
He's
shots.
never been knocked out.
Nah. Yeah, so knock on some wood.
We gotta fight. We gotta fight next
Right.
week.
Yeah, right. Let's not jinx that.
Next
Your match with Davis Asare.
Yeah.
We were talking. You're saying it typically start off slow and then you work it up. Davis Asare, not so much, man. He kind of hit you with the okey doke,
Yeah.
I thought that just
You went to
me.
slap hands and
He went to slap hands and he raised his hand and then shot.
I
It's like
did.
that's kind of chicken shit. But
The thing is the internet blew up over this one, right? And like I told everybody, it didn't change whether he meant to do it or didn't mean to do it, right? Which is up for debate for sure. Up for
deliberate to
debate for
me.
sure, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't change. I was going to go out there and pull guard. It changed. Here's the problem, though. It changed.
You recovered
the tempo.
from it. It
Yeah,
didn't.
it did. I
it
got to
wasn't,
where I was going to be.
a factor per se.
It changed the tempo of the fight.
Right.
Right, there was no time to hand fight, to pull on his head, because the game plan is to hand fight, pull on his head for a minute or two, jump guard, and then go right into legs.
You kind of had that reset moment after
That-
shaking hands. Is all right, we're set.
Yeah, now we're set, now we're going. The tempo was so high paced from there, it was like, okay, well, I'm in my guard, I'm where I need to be, start getting to the game plan. And he was just coming out so fast. Definitely. And the thing is, too, is like I've never had my foot break in that situation. My foot was sideways. I was turned. I was rolling. I felt like my foot was clear. I was working on clearing my knee line, and then it just gave out.
So you didn't really, there was no thought in your mind like, I need to tap.
No, not at all.
It happened very suddenly. It was verbal tap.
I completely was like, I'm good. And the thing is, I didn't even like say anything until after I heard the wha. And I was like, oh
shit.
that's not good. Okay, yeah, we're going to call that quits.
One thing I noticed in that exchange, whenever y'all were rolling and you had your leg, and he's getting ready to secure the submission, I could hear Mikey Musumeci talking, coaching. Was Harrison even there for your match?
Man, he was.
I didn't hear him at all.
So
I'm like thinking about that.
Yeah.
I communicate with him for a week. He speaks a little bit of English, but not really much at all.
Who was there that was really translating or coaching with him?
His fellow coach. God, what was his name?
I can see his face. He was
seen him.
He was talking, but he wasn't talking much during your match
he
either.
He has a gym in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Right, and he was translating a lot, and we'd have a lot of conversations that way. But it was really hard to communicate with him technically. Now training with him was great. He was a great training partner, great athlete.
Makes sense.
But it was very hard to communicate with him in the sense of like actual coaching and technical advice. But my match was so quick. It's not like he had time to coach anyway.
Yeah.
Right, like it was a minute and a half. Not my best performance.
Are you fully healed?
I'm fully healed.
So you're ready to go back?
I'm good.
So if they call you for a match at the end of this month, you're ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Can you make weight?
Takes that six-pack out from under his cowboy hat.
I can make weight. I can always make weight. Give me 3 days and I can make weight.
170?
For sure.
Okay.
Going back to talking, we'll talk a little bit about the bowl. I think that'll be a change for the athletes because like what happened with Austin and Davis, jiu-jitsu fighters aren't used to starting that far apart.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like a MMA fight.
Yeah, the thing is huge.
Wrestlers and jiu-jitsu
Normally they
fighters,
bring y'all in, right?
You start right here and the
Slap
referee
hands,
tells
boom,
you to
go.
go. This is going to have that more like an MMA fight. You're looking across from each other. You're standing across. You're staring at each other. They're making the announcements. Everything's going down. So there's a little bit of adrenaline and anxiety building up that they're not used to. That, let's say, MMA fighters are going to have a little bit just that calmness because they're used to standing there like that.
And y'all are starting up there, and then they say go, and y'all slide down.
Well, I
cool
rolled
right
down.
there.
Yeah.
I think that was the mistake. I rolled down and I was like, oh no.
And Davis was
no.
probably charged up too. He's like, this dude's rolling at me. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Shoot.
All in all, though, so everybody's like flaming him on the internet, calling him the worst things. He's a nice kid.
Yeah,
he is.
What
He's
happened
competed
in the
for us a
match
few times.
doesn't change that. He is actually a nice guy and a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he really is.
It was a little reminiscent of that time where the boxers like checking with the ref or whatever, and Mayweather's sucker punches
Floyd
him or whatever.
Mayweather,
Hey,
yes.
protect yourself at all times.
Who was
Yeah.
that he was
I
fighting?
can't remember, dude. It's just that's what pops in my head. It was that kind of a move where it's like there's a certain protocol, there's a certain thing that happens, you're doing it, and he decided,
Yeah.
nope, we're
It's
not.
like
Well, we've seen that in
gentlemen
MMA
agreement.
too.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
one
you're-
hand up, one hand down, just in case he shoots. I'm gonna have that
Or
underhook.
you can do the whole
raise
I'm
your
not touching
raise,
hands.
raise your
Right.
hand and be like, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah,
it's
we
always
do.
But
the
that's kind of the
gentleman.
etiquette though for
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Is you always slap
everyone
hands.
Yes.
does it.
No matter what it is.
Yes.
It's not like an MMA fight where you don't want to touch
Exactly.
gloves.
In my
Like,
16,
this is how we solidify we're
16
going.
years of training, that was only the second time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
And the first time it was this guy, so it doesn't really
Exactly.
count.
So 16 years. Let's go back to the early Oranday days. Y'all are both Texas raised?
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born in
Born and
Texas.
Yes,
Born
sir.
in Texas. Okay.
Lumberton,
And
Texas.
that's where y'all were born in Lumberton?
We were born in Port Arthur.
Port Arthur.
My
Well,
gym's in
it's all-
Lumberton and his in all
It's like
southeast.
it's
So
like
Bun B and
Tomball
Pimp C?
and Springs.
Yeah.
Like they're right
All the
next to
same
each
stuff.
other.
Bun B and Pimp C, Port Arthur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pimp C, Bun B. Some of the best rap.
Did you
rap in
grow
the
up
game.
listening to that?
Yeah, we did. My dad
Of
did.
course.
for
Did
sure.
your dad really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's only a few years younger than Bun B.
He does?
Yeah.
I wonder if Bun B ever goes back out there to that area. Because obviously I think he lives in Houston now.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure.
does. I'm sure he does. I'm
Trill
sure he's got
burgers.
family and stuff like that.
Have y'all had a Trill burger?
Uh-uh.
No. I haven't either. Have you?
They just opened one
On Louetta?
On Louetta, the
I
old
saw
Dairy
that.
Queen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been yet, but they're closer than ever. So we
Right.
should go do that sometime.
We should try a Trill burger. They serve beer?
Probably. I don't know if y'all never
I've
been.
been
Yeah,
there,
They've never
it's
had
a
it.
great question. Probably not. If I had to
Y'all,
guess.
y'all should do the food truck with a fighter and just go take them to different restaurants.
Oh, that would be cool, right?
It's a great idea.
I would
I'm
rather
not
do like
mad at
a bar with.
I mean, if it's
Take
beer and
different
food,
bars.
Wayne's
What
not
are y'all doing
complaining.
after this? We'll go hit
Right.
the Trill Burgers.
Bars with fighters. So y'all's first encounter with martial arts?
Dude,
How?
yeah, we could go pick a fight with people and be like, oh, you could probably kick this guy's ass.
Hey man, we gotta stay healthy for next week.
Yeah. Hey, we're not right now, not today. Maybe after.
I mean, we
next
can go
week.
pick fights in New Orleans.
There we
when
go.
we're done.
Or
That's-
that.
Yeah, I probably.
The
They probably
after party.
have guns.
Probably.
Those guys have guns out there. I'm staying in my room in New Orleans.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, don't blame me. Especially
So-
the UFC gonna be there. It's gonna be nuts, man.
Yeah, and slap.
And
Oh,
power
forgot to
slap.
bring slap.
Dude,
Power slap is there on Friday night.
I'm ready for jiu-jitsu to travel like power slap's just starting to travel.
That was what the talk was.
Yeah.
Is that they were gonna have a UFC BJJ, power slap, and UFC.
a
Kinda
goal.
moving together.
Where they would move, yeah.
Long-term goal to headline UFC BJJ in Houston when it happens one day.
No, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome, man.
you can't put nothing past the UFC, man. They can, on the drop of a dime, we're going here, we're doing this,
Yep. Make
and
it
it'll
happen.
and it'll be amazing. Yeah, it'll be amazing. Anyway, so like, when did y'all start martial arts and how? How did you get into it?
2009, we started training in a small gym in Baytown.
How old were
Elite. We were, what, 10 and 11?
10 and
11
11,
years
okay.
old when we started training.
Damn, 2009.
Yeah. Man, I was actually talking with the family the other day while we were at UFC BJJ. We were sharing, me and Carlos were sharing a room with Frank Mir. And
Okay.
Frank Mir, the fight he had with Brock Lesnar in 2008, that's the fight that like inspired me to do jiu-jitsu. Was like, I want to do jiu-jitsu because he caught Brock in that nice knee bar. I was like, oh,
He
this
was
is
getting
cool.
pounded in the
Yeah, he
fucking
was.
knee
It was
bar.
like this big, huge dude, and then Frank's not a small dude, but he's smaller than Brock. So it was like cool to see this smaller guy beat this big, huge jack Brock Lesnar.
Y'all were in the same warm-up room at UFC BJJ?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really cool. Like 16 years later, here I am hanging out with
Frank
Frank
Mir.
Mir.
Dude,
His
how
daughter's
amazing
getting
is
ready to
that?
compete.
Yeah.
His son's in there, so we're all hanging out, chatting and stuff. You know, and that's what brought us to jiu-jitsu.
Did you get to tell him that story?
No, he was actually, doing his
Yeah, I
team
know how
stuff
it is
and
on days
fight
like that.
night. I try not to like bother other people, and I was there for Carlos as well. I was
Yeah.
coaching him, cornering him, so I'm keeping him in the zone the whole time. But we started training in 2009.
You were at Elite Baytown?
Yep, Elite Baytown with Jordan Rivas, Robert Yamashita, Julian Vega. Yeah.
Yeah, Julian Vega. Damn, so y'all were in, I started training in 07 and I was 27. Y'all were 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all were 10 and 10 years old.
I did my debut in 14 with Cage Combat.
I remember
Darius Gray. Yeah,
Yes.
we all kind of remember that
And
one.
you
I
left
don't know
his-
why.
He
You left his arm
he
in the
waited a
cage.
little too long to tap that
Oh.
night.
That was so bad.
That was the first time in my cage that I had ever seen that happen.
Really?
Yeah, nobody
I
had
didn't know
ever.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody had ever broke
Destroyed an
somebody's arm, or
Uh-huh.
any. That was a first for us, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was my first night on the job with him
Really?
too.
Really?
Yes, that's what his
Wow.
first event.
I was like, I went back to work the next day and I'm like telling people about
All
this.
this
I was like,
stuff.
dude, this is like UFC quality. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, dude, you should come out and check it out.
Right.
These are some really good fights. And that was the one that stood out
Yeah,
the
that
most.
was my debut. I was
Your-
17 years old.
Your intro was terrible, man. That ring announcer sucked that night, man.
with a long ponytail.
Golly.
That's it. Had to dress.
Crazy.
Man,
It's, dude,
long
it's
pony.
crazy
Yeah,
how
he
the
did.
time changed.
I mean, yeah,
right?
flip flop. Here
Right.
we go.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, that's so. I remember that. But think about that event and the production quality, and then what you
Yeah.
experience with us now.
Yeah.
Everything
totally
grows and
different.
evolves whenever you stay consistent with things. Yeah.
Everybody. So you started training at Elite, and when you saw the Frank Mir fight, is when you wanted to start jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I saw that fight. It was on Spike TV at night one time watching the event. I was like, I want to start jiu-jitsu.
So
So
what-
we ended up finding a gym close, and we started in
And
2009.
it was Elite, and that was the same reason.
Same.
with
Yeah,
you?
I started because he wanted to start,
Okay.
and we kind of both started with the idea of fighting, and then I learned I don't like getting punched in the face.
No.
You know, I'm already ugly enough. We're gonna keep it like it is.
He's the reverse Josh Van. Josh Van doesn't like to hug dudes in a fight.
At
he
all.
He wants to stand and bang.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So that's got you into jiu-jitsu. You already had a thought that I want to be a fighter.
Yeah. Well, I
MMA
wanted.
is what it was going to be.
When I was a teenager, I wanted to do one MMA fight. I didn't know how far it was gonna go. I wanted to do one, because that's why I started.
Right.
I started because of MMA, so I want to try. I want to say I did it. It went really well.
And he's
then
like, I'm done.
Well, the thing was, is we discussed it. We were coming into kind of our best years, 17, 18 years old.
Right.
We really decided to pursue like a professional jiu-jitsu route. and I knew that having a single skill, being a really proficient with jiu-jitsu, would help me in the long run.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be running a gym, fighting, whatever it was.
You were
but-
looking at the future,
Exactly.
for sure.
So at 17, we decided to pursue professional jiu-jitsu, knowing that I would come back to MMA when I was older.
And y'all have competed a lot everywhere.
All around the world.
All over
What are
across country.
some of like the major titles and events y'all have won that you can throw out there for people to know?
World's no gi, Pan's no gi, medal at the European several times, American National
National.
Champion, gi no gi.
I mean, if there's a
I mean,
Submission
if there was a
Hunter Pro.
tournament,
Submission
Submission
Hunter
Hunter
Pro, that's it,
yeah.
man.
I
I've
think
competed
I-
on that stage like 10, 12 times now.
I think I counted the other day. I'm at like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're like a head ref.
Yes,
For-
I'm one of the directors for the IBJJF. So like they're
Okay.
the biggest tournament organization for jiu-jitsu. I'm
Yeah.
one of the head directors for that event.
So
now.
these dudes bring a wealth of knowledge to the jiu-jitsu scene. Been a great
No.
asset for me as well.
Yeah, which
refing our events.
That's why they're such
competing
great
for
refs
us.
for Submission Hunter Pro.
Yeah.
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 And then moving over to MMA. Have y'all, this is maybe a dumb question, but have y'all had any encounters outside of competition where you've had to fight and use jiu-jitsu?
Thankfully not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Nothing?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
You haven't seen any little old ladies getting mugged and you had to go armbar somebody?
try to stay out of
choke them
karate.
out?
Right.
That's where all that happens. We try to stay out of that.
Yeah, I know, all the altercations or scuffles I've been in have been at tournaments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Off
so-
the mat.
Yeah.
Off the mat scuffles at tournaments. The guys, being mad because
Bumping
I
their
beat their
gums.
student or bumping their gums or
But there's never been
Yeah.
a physical altercation.
Nah.
no, they try to double leg you or something, and
Off the mat.
Yeah.
yeah, no, like the guys were one tournament I was coaching my student, and it was a guy that owned the gym in our area back in the day, and he started bumping his gums and saying that he was gonna beat me up and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, hey, dude, like. It's a tournament. It's a jiu-jitsu match. Like, your kid lost. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not a big deal. And then he like shoved me and tried to grapple me and like all they started to build a little crowd. So a couple of my friends got around, grabbed him, pulled him off. Tournament kicked him out.
Okay.
Let's
So-
say it was bad for business. He didn't have a gym anymore.
Exactly.
We don't want to say no names, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Why not?
Um,
I'm looking through here. He's got a heel hook over Cameron Graves. Damien does.
yeah, that was
that's
a
not
submission
Pro
right.
on pro.
87.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
submission on
Yeah.
pro. Yeah.
That's y'all's current champ right now.
Yeah.
Featherweight champ.
Yeah, man. So you're hunting for that.
Hey,
Right.
I'm coming.
That's one of the goals.
Hey.
Yeah. The end goal is the UFC.
Right.
That's the big thing. But however I have to do it, and it's passing through Fury.
Mhm.
The belt comes, and it's one of the options I need to get to the UFC. Then I'm here for
We've
it.
seen that putting a belt on guys has really helped solidify that they're ready to go.
Go.
But then we got some guys that don't need it.
Yeah. I
And
mean, like
if-
Cody Steele, he's a great example.
And if you're doing well and you're exciting, you can talk right, you look good, you finish fights.
Well,
Sometimes you don't need the belt.
I think some of the fastest guys that have done the best in the UFC though have gotten the belt.
Yeah.
And like it puts that
I mean,
stamp.
look at Van.
Yeah,
I mean,
Joshua Van's the
number
best
one
example.
contender now.
Yeah.
You know.
What do y'all think about that?
That's what I was going to
He's
Bro.
a stud, man.
He is
Great.
a monster.
From when he started to where he is now, I mean,
I mean, the kid's
Just
been
under 5
training
years?
5 years, period.
Yeah.
Like his
Yeah,
whole
His whole
everything.
career, yeah.
Yeah. And he'll tell you, like, I used to fight in the street. I've got a lot of street fights. He just liked to fight. I remember I met him, and I've told the story before. People probably heard it, but I met him at an open workout at Henzo Gracie Lake, Houston, in 2019, I think. And
sounds right.
yeah, he was there, and Scotty Juarez, his dad was Tony Orozco, rest in peace, Tony. He used to own Silverback BJJ. Scotty took over that gym after Tony passed and kind of opened his own. But he introduced me to Josh Van. He's like, hey, I got this little Asian kid. His name was Joshua Thong.
Yeah. Joshua
Yeah.
Van Bowie Thong.
Yeah, and he said, hey, this kid, he's going to be a star. He loves to fight. I shook Josh's hand. I think he was like, I don't know, he had to be 18,
Yeah.
18
maybe
years old.
19.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, man, I know I'm standing over here, and one day I'm going to be on that other side doing the open workouts. I don't know if he's got to do open workouts yet, but the dude is the number one
Yeah,
contender.
he's number one contender, and he debuted with Fury, right?
Yeah,
As an
all of his
amateur.
amateur fights, he went undefeated 4-0 AMI.
Yeah.
And then he lost his second fight as a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, he lost
He
one.
ended up losing his second fight as a pro. by rear naked choke in the 3rd round with like 5 seconds left.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really close.
And
The round was almost over.
Yeah, and then I mean he still went on, but if you look at what he's done in the UFC, there was 1 year that he fought for us, I think 5 times in a year, and he's carried that mentality into the UFC to where you call me, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
That's how you have to be. To be a professional, to compete at the highest level, you've got to be ready. That's also what makes you a fan favorite too, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how you win 'em over.
it's hard to be a fan of someone that shows up once a year or once every 5 years. It's much easier to watch a guy that fights 3 or 4 times a year.
Or more.
That's how you stay active. You're Devin Jackson.
Yeah. That's the guy that
That ended
submitted Josh Van in the Fury cage. You think he walks around?
Yes.
I could beat him. I could be the greatest flyweight in the world.
I think everybody
bantamweight.
that's had a fight with Josh Van, win or lose, is now saying, "Man, I fought that guy."
I fought that guy.
They're telling their. You remember when I fought that guy?
Yeah, I put rounds in with him.
Yeah. What's the guy that he calf slice?
Oh man, up in Denver.
Yeah.
God.
We took him to Denver for a party.
Mario Suazo.
Yeah, Mario. He apparently he learned this like 3 days before.
I remember we were watching that cage side, losing our minds. Like, is he calf slicing this guy? And he did.
And then
Submission.
afterwards he came to us and said, "Hey, bro, I just learned that a couple days
Oh
ago."
my God, that's awesome.
And he went for it.
I
And he
saw
went
it.
for that in a UFC fight.
Yes.
With Edgar Chavez, I think.
Yes. Man, he said this
That's a spear.
in one of the interviews I saw, which is probably one of the same ones you saw. They were asking him how he got his start in fighting and all that, and he's like, "Man, you're not gonna believe it, but I just used to watch movies and be like, man, let me go try that." He'd go to the corner store and pick a fight and try to do what they did
My gosh.
in the movie just to see if it would work.
Crazy.
He's applying the same thing. Oh, calf slicer, is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Let me
try it.
give that calf slicer thing a shot. And then he gets a submission with it.
I think it was
Crazy.
like Ray Bell or Lester Batres that
Showed it to him?
showed that to him one time in training. And he's like, "I literally did it in training like once or twice." And I figured, "Oh, let me try this shit in the
See if I
fight."
can get it.
And he fucking pulled it off.
If you watch a Josh Van fight, you're not expecting him to ever go for a calf slicer, so I guess it might be a little easier to
Hey,
get caught in a move like that.
I'm interested to see how his jiu-jitsu holds up against Pantoja.
Yeah.
Because
Oh my God, yeah.
Pantoja can't stand there and strike with him. If Pantoja makes that mistake,
Right.
he will be slapped.
This one's definitely going to the ground, I feel like.
Yeah, it has to. So I'm curious to see how Josh's jiu-jitsu holds up.
Yeah.
I think his game plan is gonna be to just not get taken down.
taken
Period. And if I do get taken down, I have to get up immediately.
Yeah.
And hope that Pantoja gets tired, and then
Which
he
is
can,
a possibility.
and then
Yes.
he can touch him. It's 5 rounds.
Yep, 5 rounds, and there's a huge age gap now. I mean,
Yeah.
Pantoja's 35.
Yeah. Did you see Pantoja's interview when he was saying, "When I was 23, I was working at a bar, washing dishes or
Yeah.
some
And
shit"?
look at this guy. Yeah, he's given Josh Van a lot of credit, a lot of
Yeah.
respect.
For sure.
Josh Van will be the first UFC champion to hold a belt that was born in the 2000s.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
That's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's really showing like
The next generation.
Yeah.
The next
We're
next
there.
generation of guys.
The time is now.
Yeah,
Good
I
time.
think it's all going to come down to whether he can't get taken down in the first and second round. If he can keep staying on his feet for the first and second round, it's just going to be, or if he can at least get up after he gets taken down
Yep.
in the first and second.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets held down and potentially gets to hold his tank, then it's going to be a long night.
I think Josh's confidence is going to rise. Let's just say Pantoja takes his back in the first round, and he don't submit him.
Yep.
And Josh gets up and he's like, "Okay, well, I felt everything he had. He's
You gave me your best
Fresh.
shot when you're fresh.
yes. Now I'm gonna go turn it up."
Yeah.
It could
No, he's
happen.
got the attributes to do it, for sure. Like,
And I
he
think-
can pull it off.
Training at 4 ounce too, and with a guy like Daniel Pineda, Daniel's super
I
strong.
was going to
and-
mention that as far as ground game goes, I mean, could you have a better partner who's going to be tougher on you than Daniel Pitt?
Have you ever
Pineda?
rolled with Daniel? He's a different machine. Like, and he doesn't do traditional jiu-jitsu. I don't think he's ever put a gi on.
Yeah.
Maybe he has. But he's been training for so long. Like when Daniel Pineda started fighting, there was no amateur fights. Like he went straight pro and just fought wherever he could get fights. He's got like over 50 fights, I'm assuming.
He's got
at
a
this point.
crazy high finish rate, too, right? And a
Yes.
lot with
Yeah.
subs.
I think he's went to one decision, maybe, that he lost a decision in the UFC. But other than that, like it's always
All
been
finishes,
finish him or them.
Yep.
He's never went to a scorecard ever in
Die.
all of his fights.
Hey, die on
Up
your
until
shield.
recently. Yeah, up until recently.
As it should go. Die out on your shield.
That's what they love to see, and that's what keeps you
He's,
active.
He's like our guy Yves Edwards, that thug jitsu. It's not
Yeah.
traditional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You could call that pit jitsu, right? Pit jitsu. He has one decision or two.
Looks like he's lost a couple of decisions.
And those are all
There's
UFC
more-
fights. Yeah,
there's
more recent.
More recent.
Yeah, so I'm going to
UFC
go give him a
fights,
hard time that he ruined his record at this
but
point.
They want to include grappling stuff on here, but look at all this, man. Remember that one, Ray Trujillo, Fury FC 32.
Y'all got y'all's black belts what year?
I got mine in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got mine
That same year too, but it was later.
2020, the end of 2021.
Yeah, so mine
December.
was in the beginning of the year and his was the end of the year.
And y'all's lineage is what? Y'all are belted under
Lucas Lepre.
Lucas. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And your mom's a black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She got a black belt from Lucas as well.
So y'all come from a line of black belts. So and Oranday Brothers came from Elite. Y'all started y'all's own team with y'all's own gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
year was that?
We started that in 2016.
Yeah, so we're coming up on 10 years for the
years.
main location, and yesterday made 6 years for our second location.
That's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yesterday was the
Yeah.
anniversary for Lumberton.
Oh wow, congratulations.
And y'all have a solid kids program.
Dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
Kids,
absolutely.
adults.
Everything's solid. I mean, we're running near 400 students between
So
the
y'all
two
are running a
gyms.
full-time business.
Oh, for sure.
And y'all get y'all's training done in there? Y'all cross-train
Yeah,
anywhere?
no, most
Yeah.
of our training's done. As far as grappling, I do everything at home, and then I go train with Drew 2 to 3 times a week.
And you get some good work over there.
Man,
I've
yeah.
been noticing like Kyle Todrake has been showing up
Yeah,
over there.
more people have been coming. Cameron Smotherman
Cameron
was coming
Smotherman,
before
yeah.
his last fight in Atlanta. He was training with us. He was coming like 2 times a week.
I wonder if those guys live out that way.
I know
That's a
Todrake
drive.
doesn't. Yeah, he drives like an hour, a little over an hour to get to us.
Drew's in Texas City,
Yeah,
and y'all are in.
near Beaumont.
He's near.
So
he's
how
in
far
Port
is it?
Neches. I'm in Lumberton.
For me,
Yeah,
it's an hour.
Lumberton's like a suburb of Beaumont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you
But
wanna call
that's
it that.
still a good drive.
It's an hour
to
and 40
Texas
minutes. I make that drive 3 times a week,
City. An hour and 40.
one way.
That's further
Yeah,
than.
a lot of people don't know like the commitment I have to making MMA is
Bro,
I make
that's a-
that drive out there.
Yeah, so guys that really want to be dedicated to something, man, there's no excuse.
No.
There's no excuse. This is your future that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta. So I shouldn't feel bad that I gotta drive 50 minutes to College Station
Nah.
to visit my kids. To visit my kids at A&M. This dude's
Right.
driving an hour and 40.
Yeah, but it's to punch people in the face
When,
and stuff.
when you want to do it, you make it happen. You know.
100%.
I was telling my students yesterday, like he was, talking about moving 30, 40 minutes away, and there's no gyms around. That's not a 15-minute drive. I'm like, man,
Make the drive.
make the drive. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, do you want to do jiu-jitsu? You
I
don't?
think-
Okay.
I think when you make a commitment like that too, like for myself, I'm making almost 4 hours a day driving.
That's crazy.
Uh,
I didn't realize that, man.
Yeah, it's 100 miles one way.
Wow.
When you make that commitment, you're gonna make the most of it when you show up as well.
100%.
Some of these, the new generation coming in, some of them are real blessed that they live close and they get nice training facilities right there by them, and they get complacent and then they don't make the most of every training session. They
Damn,
kinda just go through the
entitled
motions.
generation.
Or
Damn kids.
are they trained with some of the best black belts in the world? Like, we
Yeah,
have
I mean,
we have Carlos at our gym. He's amazing.
He's the UFC champ right now.
Yeah.
So like they don't realize what they had. Like we didn't have that coming up.
Yeah.
When you started, it was the same way. Jiu-jitsu and MMA just wasn't as prevalent as it is
Right.
now with world-class people
Yeah.
at your fingertips.
You can go to a little city right outside of Beaumont, Texas, and have the best training in the world.
Yep.
And back in the day, we used to drive to Austin, Dallas to just go get some good
Cross-training.
rounds, go cross train for
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours, and drive
Right.
4 or
All
5
across
hours.
Houston, everywhere we could get training, and we were trying to make it happen.
And that's what y'all bring back to Lumberton, Texas now.
Yeah.
You're bringing the world there.
That's
That's
it.
awesome, man.
That's insane, man. That's amazing.
And that's my goal with we've done it with jiu-jitsu now, and that's my goal to bring up the striking, because the striking in our area is very, very amateur still. So my goal is to bring a high professional level of striking and MMA to Southeast Texas.
But when they
next.
see you in the UFC and you can hang them photos and posters and stuff on the
Exactly.
wall, they're gonna be like, man, we got a UFC fighter right here in Lumberton.
That's it.
That's amazing. Speaking of Carlos, so y'all have Carlos Enrique,
Yep.
UFC BJJ1 champ. First guy that Dana puts a belt on
Yep.
is Carlos. How did y'all meet Carlos?
So actually through our sister. Our sister met him at some tournaments. They started dating.
Love at first sight?
Yeah, love at first sight, apparently.
Yeah.
And he was very avid. He was teaching at a gym here in Houston. And
Okay.
he wanted to move with us. He liked the training over there. He wanted to be with her, of course. So he moved. He's been with us for, 3 years now? Coming
Yeah.
up on 3?
3 years.
And he's your weight class?
He's 155.
He's 155.
Yeah, he'll fight MMA at 55.
Yeah. But he's
tall.
obviously a
he's
great
6 foot tall.
great training partner
Yeah.
for MMA and
Yep.
and
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
people don't know either. Carlos is gonna fight MMA this year as well, and he's doing all his BJJ stuff. He's still training MMA. He's still.
Can you imagine when I have to try and match him?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Good luck.
Anytime you have a guy that's like your status, like a black belt, Carlos, Lucas Valiente, that just made the transition to us, dude, it's super hard.
Yeah, I can
Like, it's
imagine.
hard.
Oh, that's not a good fight for us.
You know, it's for us, it's super tough. You know, because we get guys like you, like, okay, well, I'll take that fight, but then they're saying no. It's
But
like,
the thing is too, these guys don't understand. You got to take those opportunities because Carlos is a current UFC BJJ champion.
right.
If you beat the guy that has 40 to 80,000 followers, something like that, the UFC is already watching him. Mick and all the guys are gonna be watching him because he's their BJJ champion. So they're gonna want to get him to the UFC. If you beat that up and coming guy, that's the opportunity to get your eyes. Your stock rises massively. And if you lose to him, most people think you're supposed to lose to him.
Exactly.
So
Right.
move
There's
on to the
nothing to
next
lose.
one.
Yeah,
It's a
these guys
win-win.
don't realize.
But people are so worried about getting that loss,
Yep.
and it overtakes them, and then they're like, okay, well, that's not a good fight.
I think that's the big difference between MMA and jiu-jitsu. Which jiu-jitsu guys are starting to do the same thing though. You start to hear it, That's not
getting
the one
tougher
for me.
I was going to bring that up too. Like, I'm matching the Submission Hunter Dallas card right now, and it's been tough because I've got guys that are like, oh man, that's really not a match. Same weight,
And
within 2 years,
You know, it's
age
crazy. It's not
difference,
even
and they still.
for the jiu-jitsu guys. It's not even like a lot of money that they could be losing up one opportunity. Man, take these fights.
Yeah, it's not like
Get
anybody's
on the
tracking a
platform.
record, you know.
And then they're like, well, can I do the UFC one if I win over here? I said, man, I can't guarantee anything. Like, all I can do is say, get on there,
Look good.
look great, and sell yourself.
If
And
you
if they
don't
call-
do it, then the answer is no.
Yeah, you have
So,
no
I mean,
opportunity
It's
at
always
all.
no. If
Yeah,
you
exactly.
say no, it's always no.
You have no opportunity to do it.
Man, one good fight on Submission Hunter Pro got me to, you dropped my name on the hat. They watched my fight with Bruno,
Yeah.
got on the mic, asked to be on the UFC, and got the call for the show a couple weeks later.
And they loved you. They had, I forgot where they had saw you. Oh, they had saw you cornering Carlos too,
Yeah.
for his first match that we had put him on after he won the 8-man.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, who's the guy in the cowboy hat?
Right.
Techi's like, I see him at all the tournaments and stuff.
Yep.
That was
That's
cool.
all. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the thing. If you're not putting yourself out there, the right eyes aren't going to see you.
Yeah.
No.
What are your thoughts like right now on the like your division in Fury?
It's stacked with talent, man. It's
It's a
stacked
lot
with
of guys,
talent.
right?
But I know I can put myself already at the top.
Yeah.
Like,
So you
I
don't
know it's
worry about-
just chopping them down one at a time.
Yeah. So you're ready to just move up the ladder.
Yeah, because I know the big goal is to fight with, Volk and Diego Lopez and those guys.
Yeah.
So these guys here at Fury are just another step
To get there.
Get there.
And
yeah.
you've seen Diego in the Fury cage
Yeah,
before.
I mean, exactly. He's a great example of a guy that came from Fury. He's a stud. He became and fought for the title. You know, built
So
his name, built his following, and fought for the title.
It's where the toughest guys come out of, though. Like, everyone that's going to the UFC in Texas is coming out of Fury. So the UFC sees how stiff the competition is over here, and they're looking for guys that are performing well in there. And as you see, it turns around and makes it where they can perform well in the UFC.
Have either of y'all ever rolled with Cody Steele?
No.
No, actually.
I got to roll with
We've-
Andrew on the show. That was
we've,
cool.
We've made a
We
lot of
exchanged
contacts
techniques.
together. We've messaged each other back and forth. We see each other all the time. He's invited me out there to Vegas.
Cody's such a stud, man.
He's
Nice
awesome.
guy.
He's a good guy too.
You got guys like Cody Steele.
That's when him and Nico fought, man. It was so hard for me,
know, man.
because Nico's my number one training partner.
Nico
Of
did
course,
well.
He did great.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
winning. I think he was winning.
on the cards.
He hit Cody with a hard one, and I think like Cody looks like the type of guy like when he gets hit, he sees fire.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, okay, now I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And I took that personally.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, just crazy, man. What are some matchups y'all would like to see on UFC BJJ? Let's say y'all are playing matchmaker right now. Claudia and Techi step out, and the Oranday Brothers come in, and y'all can make 2 matchups on a UFC BJJ card.
Man.
What are some matchups that you think the public would be like, damn, this is a great.
Any matchup with Carlos.
Keith and Carlos is the one I want to see.
Yeah, Keith
Who?
and Carlos.
Keith and
Corcoran,
Carlos?
yeah,
Okay.
and Carlos.
Damian Anderson. He's really exciting. He
Damian.
fights in Fury too, doesn't he?
Yeah, we're hoping he comes back soon. He had I think it was an elbow injury. That has
but
put him out for a little
He's
bit.
really exciting. MMA and grappling. So him
Yeah.
and Carlos would be a good matchup.
Damien and Carlos would be a great matchup.
I'm excited for the Andrew Tackett matchup and
Or not,
Canuto.
yeah.
Those two.
Who wins that?
I think Andrew.
Andrew, I think he's too physical.
Who? Andrew lost to one of the Rotolo brothers on.
Cade Rotolo. Yeah. But that was a match of the year. They got a huge bonus.
And it wasn't by submission, right?
No, it was
No,
a 3-round
split decision, which I thought Andrew won.
What a matchup to run back.
Yeah.
Following Andrew Tackett, has he been submitted anytime recent in any tournament or any kind of match?
Not that I know of.
Not that I can think.
I
I
mean,
think he got knee barred at a local super fight like 2 years ago. Was his last submission loss.
It's been a while.
That's crazy.
And he's gone on. He's leveled up since then so much that it's insane.
Yeah, and there's a big hype train built around Andrew right now because he's the champ, welterweight champ, but his brother too. William with anybody is a
William
great
Tackett.
matchup as well.
He had a stellar performance.
You want to talk about matchups I want to see? I want to see William fight for the title against Clay Mayfield. Clay Mayfield, they're both strong, heavy wrestling, top game types.
Athletic guys.
You know,
Where's Clay out of?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Right, he's with the Pedigo guys. He just went 4 for 4 at American National, submitting all the guys. What was that really tough Brazilian cat?
Fabio Yuri.
Yeah,
from
he just tapped Fabio Yuri at the American National final, and Fabio's been on a tear.
Clay's physical too.
And that's the thing is, and William is very physical as well. So that matchup at 185, I think, goes crazy.
So if UFC BJJ traveled, obviously there's talent in any state.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
absolutely.
Every region of the U.S.
The UFC is in Nashville this weekend.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis is headlining the card.
Yep.
So had they put a UFC BJJ card, they could have had a main event
With one of the best black
Clay.
belts in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think Clay's been on a card yet.
No,
He hasn't.
he's always in
FBI
Nashville.
or-
So the thing is, he's all the way in Nashville, so he doesn't travel down to the tournaments that are the big feeders. You know, he competes at
It's on
IBJJF.
Fight Pass.
It's on Fight Pass.
That's
you know,
the thing. These guys got to get on Fight Pass.
he's competing at IBJJF stuff, and he does well. He looks good. You know.
And people don't understand, being on Fight Pass is huge because we're in over 200 countries.
Yeah.
So you're seeing
exposure's
all over the
insane.
world. And if you do something crazy that can go viral, dude, it could change your life overnight. Like, who is that kid? And then people start asking questions, and all of a sudden,
The match I want on UFC BJJ, the matchup excluding myself, those were all exciting. But with myself, I want to fight Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan Haddad. He was on the show as well. He lost against Varelli. I think it's a good match because one, it's a trilogy. We're 1-1 back at color belt, he beat me at purple and I beat him at black.
we're at
IBJJF. Yeah.
Okay.
So he beat my points.
Nogi?
Nogi.
Those are both Nogi matches?
Both Nogi. So it's a trilogy.
Okay.
And he didn't have a great showing. I didn't have a great showing. So that's the match I want. And he's a nice kid. Nathan's awesome. Boy from Kentucky.
It's Claudia and Techi, you hear that?
Yeah.
It's time to do it. Make it happen.
That was going to be one of my questions. Who would you
Who
like
does-
to
who
face?
does he
And
want? Yeah.
You nailed that. Dream opponent.
Nathan Haddad. I think
That's
it's a scrap. It's two clashing styles, and then from there work my way up to getting back to that number one contendership, getting to that point where I can challenge for the title.
Yeah.
The guys who won, Tackett and Carlos, is that who y'all thought were going to win the whole thing?
Yes.
Well, besides myself.
Besides yourself.
Yeah.
Besides myself, yeah.
Excluding Austin, I knew Andrew.
Once I was out, I knew Andrew was going to go. I knew Andrew would go to the final on his side for sure.
How cool would it have been, though, to see you and Carlos both?
Man, that would have been a dream.
I was trying for it, man. I was trying.
Both of y'all in the finals, both of y'all bringing those UFC BJJ belts back to Texas, back to y'all's gym.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like if he would have had a coach whose primary language was
Oh.
English, that might help.
So in
might
that
have
match,
helped.
everybody talks about it. The big difference maker out of anything else was Mikey breaking down my game. Mikey watched over 60 or 70 of my matches, apparently.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was like, oh, this is his exact start every single time. And two obscure matches he brought up to Davis. Davis told me the two matches he brought. And we're talking like when I competed in New Orleans a year and a half ago, and then another match 3 years ago that I got submitted that way. And he broke it down step by step. He's like, he always
leg,
starts like
how he
this.
does it.
What leg, how I
I
pose.
took offense as I was watching. Like, his right leg is always there. It's always available. So,
That's a great coach.
No, he
Yes.
broke it down.
Great coach.
Yes.
He studied the most, I think, and gave Davis the best game plan to beat me.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you this though.
And that's him doing it for someone else.
Someone
Yes.
else.
yeah.
After that, Mikey made me change my whole game. Ever since the show, I've trained a completely different way now.
That's awesome, man.
They start closing the gaps.
Yeah.
So imagine how Mikey prepares himself. for matchups. Because he's the most important person to himself, obviously.
Yeah.
So if he can do that for somebody else.
I think that's in the coaching game, though. It should be like that. Jiu-jitsu lacks a little bit where guys come in and they just kind of go through the movements and go through the classes, and their coach shows up to them on tournament day. Look at what MMA coaches do.
Right.
They dedicate 3 months to help prepare these guys for a specific opponent. What does this guy do? Like, I remember Drew preparing Nico for his fight with Cody. And it was on a short notice, so we didn't have a full 8 week, but it was a 3 week. He's like, all right, he has this gap. I see it. Every time he throws that left hand, the right hand will be available. And you saw Nico was clocking him with it, the right hand over and over and over.
That's one thing about Nico. He's not afraid to exchange.
No, he's not.
Like, he will get in there and have a gunfight. Like,
Yes.
he gets in the
Absolutely.
fire and starts slinging.
Because he gets in there and he trains with everybody. He trains with, lower weight guys like me, but he's also in there with Philippe, who's he's a 185er, but he's walking around at 230. He's a big, huge dude, and Nico's banging with him.
Yeah, Felipe too is another
Talking
one.
about Drew Ratajczyk, your coach out at American
Yeah.
Combative Systems. He's one of the guys like Alex Morono, who I could just listen to coach a fight all day.
Yes.
Like the way he breaks things down. the way
Don't
he
ever
explains
call
things.
Drew unless you got an hour.
Oh,
and a half.
yeah.
He told us.
We're on the car
Dude.
ride up here.
Don't
Yeah.
ever like you call Drew when you have a long ride.
Yeah.
Like I call Drew. I call Drew when I go to Dallas or when I go to San
Yeah,
Antonio.
you gotta have a huge block of time.
So I got plenty of times. If not, I'm like, hey Drew, I gotta go, man. Like my wife's looking over my shoulder right now, saying, "Who the hell you
a
been
short
talking
a short
to?"
call with him, a quick call is 20 minutes.
Yeah, and he'll text me, "Hey man, you got 5 minutes?"
No, it's not.
Bro, it's
Never
not-
5 minutes
that's
with
not
Drew.
happening.
Like explains everything in like such great details. Like if you lose this one, we can't go back in time because the flux capacitor has not been invented yet, and Doc Brown hasn't hit his head on the toilet. And just, dude, wow, he's
Yeah,
like going through the
but
whole lineage.
Him and Alex, those guys are pioneers for MMA in Houston. Drew's been around since
Yeah, man.
2007, coaching along with
And
all the other guys.
the
Going
effort that
back
they
to
put
night
into the
one,
gyms.
Whenever I was, doing my first night with,
Yeah,
you that night,
2014.
Drew was there and coaching, and I'm like, dude, who is that guy? Because you could hear him over everybody.
It's always
Yes.
been the same.
And exactly, just like, dude, this
He's got
guy.
that voice that just carries.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's just methodical, and everything is so well explained. Like this guy is somebody. Like I didn't know who he was at the time. I hadn't met him yet, but I'm like, this guy's clearly somebody.
Yeah, he's a great coach. And
I've
that's-
never seen Drew mad, ever.
No.
Yeah, no.
Ever. He's super compassionate. Even like win or lose, he just always has the right shit to say
Yes.
after the fight.
Dude, and
he knows how to.
one of his fighters is pissed off, he'll check that shit real quick.
Yeah,
Like,
he
hey,
will.
you go shake his fucking hand. Go
Yeah.
go over there.
Yeah.
And,
Very professional.
The thing with Drew too, people don't see, is he's preparing you to win or lose.
Yeah.
We're going to fist fight. That's
I
the
see
bottom
that.
line is you're going to fist fight another dude. Don't care about the people, the cameras, who you're fighting in front of. At the end of the day, you're fighting another human who's going to fist fight. You're going to fist fight. You're going to grapple. You're going to get in some exchanges. It's the same stuff we're doing here at home in our cage. And when I was looking, because I knew I was going to make the transition back to MMA, and I knew it was going to be a drive. That's why I picked him. It's because he has the system to make good fighters.
You go to both of their gyms too. They're both professionally ran. Alex and Drew. They're just the most professionally ran.
Put
Oh, you
together.
did a seminar at Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually trains out there at Alex's.
Who is it?
He's
He's
like
like a
would know.
blue belt,
He's
right?
a blue
Is he
belt,
jiu-jitsu
yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu
Okay.
guy. Well, he does MMA. He trains a little bit of both, but he doesn't
Hasn't fought
compete.
yet.
Hasn't fought.
Okay.
And he trains out there, and so I went out there and did a seminar and all that kind of stuff. And
what were you
man,
teaching at the seminar?
Aoki locks.
You
and,
got
locks,
and then you
know.
competed at Submission Hunter the following week, and how'd you win?
Aoki lock.
My man.
You said this shit works.
Yeah, no,
I remember saying
yeah.
that.
Yep.
That's how he sells his seminars.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
shit
no.
works, guys.
It was a good
The
time.
price just went up, brother.
It actually didn't, so hit me up.
Oh man,
Good for y'all.
get
man.
in while you can.
What did y'all see Trump talking about the UFC going to the White House?
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
What do y'all
That's
think
crazy.
about that?
I think that would be amazing. It's great for the sport. Will it actually happen?
What do you think?
If
Logistically,
it's
no.
Trump and Dana,
Wrong.
Trump and Dana make anything happen.
That's what I
Hey,
was gonna say.
No, hey, definitely they do, man. But
All right, here's a dilemma. Cormier pointed
it's
out.
great for the sport.
How does security handle that?
Dude, the Secret Service is gonna
They're
have to.
gonna
It's
go
gonna be a
nuts.
very limited. It's gonna be like the.
He said 20,000.
No, there's no fucking way. Hey, he says lots of things. He says he's
Yeah.
going to release the Epstein client list too. He says he's going to abolish income tax too. He says a lot of things.
Well, I would
that
like to see the income tax abolished.
I think
Yeah,
we should. Hey,
sure, I think
founding
we all-
fathers are rolling over in their graves that we're paying what we pay in income tax. But yeah, it's great for the sport. It's great exposure and everything. Will it really happen? I don't know how you do. How do you hold a 20,000 event capacity on the lawn of the White House.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see an Apex style smaller.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
250
it's going to
people.
have to be something
Invite
like
only.
the Apex, invite only. Everybody's going to have to go through, security checks and get
Pay-per-view.
vetted and all that good stuff. That's the
Pay-per-view.
only way you could do that.
Yes.
20,000 people, I don't know how you do that. So
here's
we'll see. It'll be interesting.
problem that Cormier pointed out. We don't have any American champs right now. It's all
Bum, bum, bum.
there's no
Hey.
U.S. No U.S. champs.
Well,
So who fights the main event?
Donald Trump's going to change it that night,
Well,
brother.
they
He's
said-
going to be like Vince McMahon out there tugging
They
his ear,
said,
calling for submissions.
like Aspinall and Jones.
Yeah.
Because Jones already started, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll come
Oh
back.
yeah, yeah. He's like, oh, you're talking about the White House? Oh, I'd come back for that.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
2
dude,
weeks.
What do you guys
retirement.
make of that? The whole back and forth, John Jones.
Once again, man, these fighters, no one wants to be a fan of a guy that fights once every 5 years.
Jones is still the GOAT.
He's
that
the
every-
GOAT. He's the GOAT. I'll give him that. I'll
Great
give you
fighter.
all that. But
It's hard to be a fan.
is it that, man? Like with all the the PED accusations and things, and the off
Getting in
the,
trouble off.
getting off the trouble with the law. Whenever he's got a big fight coming up and things like that, it's like it makes it hard to be a fan of the guy sometimes. Whenever these things happen, he's human like the rest of us. We all have flaws and everything, all that good stuff. But whenever you have an interim champion and you're the undisputed champion, isn't that clearly the fight
Yes.
that has to happen?
Always.
Like you have another guy saying he's the champ.
It's cherry picking his career, man.
Oh no! I'm
And
not
the thing is,
fighting that
he's
guy.
the same age difference when he fought Daniel,
Yeah.
And that's the thing he's saying. Why do I have to fight the young guns? Because the old dogs fought you. Now
Because
you're the
there's
old
this
dog.
unspoken rule, like
When
a
he beat
time-honored
Shogun, right?
tradition.
Yeah.
When he beat Shogun for the belt, what was he,
He-
like 22,
yeah.
23?
He was young.
He was super young.
You
Exactly.
gotta give the guys the opportunities that you were given,
Yes.
or you need to let it go.
That.
Yeah.
So,
You need to let it go.
Not
you know?
only that, like, he's making a huge payday every time he fights.
Of course. Of course.
Do it. Just if you want to go out and make some extra money, man, now's the time.
that was the thing, though.
Well,
Like he
and Dana gave him
supposedly-
what he wanted.
Exactly. He
There-
named his price. Dana met it. Whatever
Let's
that
do it.
was. Dana said they had an agreement in place.
Right.
Jones says, "Well, we talked, but." I tend to side with Dana. I know Dana wouldn't just make that shit up because he doesn't want to talk about it publicly. Number
Right.
one,
Yeah.
but if he's willing to tell you that, then
Right.
his word is his bond, as good as gold.
And
They had an
knowing that
agreement in
Jones can
place.
say that's not true,
Yeah,
Dana's not going to
exactly.
say. Yeah.
So,
and
to
like,
have an agreement in place
I-
and then back out,
I'm
that
worried
makes
that
it look
he
kind of
is having the
suspicious.
boxing mindset, though. That I can't lose, or I'm Tanner's forever.
Like the
Yeah.
Floyd
You know,
Mayweather.
The Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
That if I lose, then my career is over, my legacy's over.
Right.
Leave that in boxing.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu guys, I don't want to see that happen in jiu-jitsu either.
Yeah.
Win or lose, go out there, put on a show,
Yep.
and make your bag.
Yeah.
Provide for your family. Like
Yeah.
that's what it needs to be about.
Can't do
Yeah.
it forever, and you gotta pave the way for the next generation. And if you can gift somebody that, I don't mean gift like go out there and lay down or whatever. Go out there and put on a show, and if you
Right.
get beat in the process, then and they're able to capitalize on it. Hey man, you were able to do that at some point in your career also. So man,
Hey, you're still stacking paper.
there and that too, man. So
No doubt.
that's my
man.
personal take on it. I wish that that fight would and could happen, and hopefully Donald Trump, the expert negotiator, maybe he's the one. Maybe he's the one that
Maybe.
gets John Jones to come out and fight Tom Aspinall.
A magic key.
But Jones did do the Donald Trump dance.
He did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe that's going to sell him. Well, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Next week, Damian Oranday fights. Fury 106,
Yeah, man.
NOLA.
Fury 106
New Orleans.
in Nolens, Louisiana.
Then we come back home July 25th and have Submission Hunter on a Friday night.
And
Fury on a Sunday,
Sunday.
7/27.
Fury
So
Challenger
2 events,
Series.
1 weekend. 14?
14 already.
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
that's
14.
crazy.
already stacked 14.
So we got a banger
Challenger
card
Series.
next week. We're going to have I think a lot of UFC staff is going to show up.
Yeah,
So make sure your post-fight interview's on point.
that's it.
There will be a lot of people listening. I got nothing else.
Boom, hey, thanks to our sponsors, OnlyFans, Space City Collective, Warbringer Whiskey, Young LA, DeNunaLawFirm.com. Hey, I know you guys are clean cut, straight and narrow, but if you ever get into legal trouble, DWI or criminal defense, give our friends at DeNuna Law Firm a call, 713-257-8889. And on that note, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.
Yeah.